Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mind Matters at DGPS. I'm your host, Parth, and today's discussion is one that every student, every teacher, and every parent can probably relate to: assessment and marks. As students, especially in years 11 to 13, it often feels like everything revolves around marks, from predicted grades to university applications. For our younger audience, predicted grades are the marks that teachers estimate we as students are going to get in our final board exams. Teachers focus on completing portions, we focus on achieving high scores, and in the middle of it all, I think the learning aspect kind of gets lost. With tighter school calendars, a growing list of extracurriculars, and the pressure to balance it all, it's easy to feel like education has become more about performance than progress. So today we're taking a closer look at this, how students make sense of assessment, how data and marks are used, and whether our current system truly helps us to grow as learners. And to unpack all of this, I am joined by our very own Vice Principal, Dr. Poonam. Thank you so much for being here, Miss. It is an honor to have you here. So let's get started. So, Miss, a lot of us, especially from years 11 to 13, tend to see school tests as a stepping stone towards the board exams. And due to the board exams mattering more than the internal tests themselves, we tend to take them lightly. Do you think the mindset changes the way students actually learn and engage in class?
Absolutely, Parth. The mindset does make a difference. When students view the assessments as hurdles to clear, the opportunity to learn is lost somewhere. Each assessment, whether it is a class test or a starter quiz or a project, it gives a valuable feedback that how much a student knows and how much more attention the student needs to pay. It is an opportunity for all of you, or for all the students, I would say, to make mistakes and then learn from these mistakes. So students need to see that bigger picture. Now, as educators, when we give assessments, I think we see them as learning checkpoints rather than making judgments. So the school can support the students by providing feedback which emphasizes on improvement and growth. And when students notice their progress, that of their own understanding, and it is not just a number that have been given them after the test, they start to appreciate every stage of learning, every assessment. I'll give you one example which just happened half an hour before. I had an assessment and I know it was a little bit challenging. So once the students submitted their assessment, 3 of them came to me and said, "Miss, I have actually understood the concepts now. Can I have a reassessment? Because now I know how to answer these. I have not done it correctly." So that is where the student has understood his own progress. And he's himself asking me that, "Please give me one more assessment. I want to practice. I want to do more." So therefore, the mindset will make a difference.
I think this does depend from person to person, right? There might be students who take too much pressure at once, and as you know, our first term exams are about less than a month away. Now that students are coming up to you, they're asking about exams, about small internal tests that can help their progress. As I said, it depends from person to person. So there may be a person who comes up to you being like, "I really want to study for my first terms. If I don't do well in my first terms, my predicted grades get affected." And so what would you say to a child like this who comes up to you in concern?
When these pressures will always be there, right? Whether you as student have a test or we as teachers, there are pressures of deadlines, there are pressures of making a question paper, right?
Yes.
And we cannot take the same papers every year, assessments.
Yeah.
Why? Because every year a group of students are different. The cohort is different. So there is stress everywhere, but I believe that it is how we deal with that stress. So if these small assessments that we do it seriously, we are already ready for the big picture, as I said.
Okay.
So when we ourselves at every step, we are monitoring our own progress. If the student monitors their own progress, that stress will not be there when it comes to, say, your first term exam or the board exams, I would say.
Okay.
You can relate, Parth,
Of
when I'm
course.
telling you this.
Yes, miss. So moving on, many students feel that teachers focus more on marks and completing the syllabus, especially now that the KHDA unfortunately shortened the school year. With less time for deeper understanding or balance with extracurriculars, how can schools encourage students to focus more on meaningful learning rather than just rushing to finish portions and chase grades?
Okay, Parth, this is a very honest observation that you made, and it is a concern. And I think I must assure you that this is something that constantly we reflect on. Now, as I mentioned earlier also, teachers feel the pressure of deadlines. And students, they feel that there is some weight of expectations. Oh, if I do wrong, if I don't do well, what will happen? So that weight of expectations is there. And that is what leads to stress, what you're talking about. Right? So the way forward is to bring that purpose back to learning. That is what we should think. It is not about marks, it is not about grades, it is about what we have learned. So therefore, when the lessons are focused more on inquiry, they're focused more on discussion, on application, rather than just covering up the portions, right? Or completing the syllabus, what as you mentioned. Students, they become more engaged. They get involved in their learning process. And therefore, the schools now need to redefine that we do not, the success is not only grade oriented, right? We need to redefine that. Success is also about how much creative you have been. So where creativity comes, where collaboration comes, that also is a part of success. And where you are able to say the skill, like you develop a skill like problem solving. So success is not only getting those marks, success is also getting these skills. And when the students realize that understanding or your curiosity is also valued as the grades are, then the emphasis will shift from what you say, from performance to learning.
Completely understand your point, and I think these can mainly be applied to, I say, the younger grades, because I mean, as I mentioned, the KHDA has shortened the year, and as year 13 students, we have so much to do in such short time. We have under 6 months or so to be giving our board exams and then getting ready to fly out or stay here. The learning aspect can, of course, be attributed to the year 11s and year 12s who still have time. But what do we do as year 11s?
See,
I mean,
as year
13,
11s
sorry.
or year 12s or year 13s, I would say when there is less time, as you feel that it is not. Okay?
Yeah.
But suppose if you still feel that there is less time, I think the focus has to be on concept mastery. You master the concepts rather than on the volume of the content. How much is the content I have to cover? If I can master the concept, automatically you are ready and you are prepared to answer certain aspects of the assessments that that comes at the board level. So I feel that the teachers need to work smarter
Not
than
harder.
faster. Than faster.
Faster, okay.
We need to be smarter than faster.
Yeah.
And how can they do it? We have so many AI tools, we have technology,
Yes.
we have flipped classrooms, we have class discussions. So it is not that everyday teacher comes and writes on the board that you have to learn this is a question. We work using these tools and we can cover up the syllabus within whether a short period or it is extra time that is being given.
And do you think teachers should spend the time from, let's say, from year 9 to assess every student's capabilities to see how they learn and how well they learn in a certain type of way? Like if they take an individual who is efficient in getting their notes done, and once they get their notes done, they can learn well. But there's a person who is efficient in learning from listening. So they have more discussion-based classes.
So see, Path, you are familiar with the benchmark assessments.
Yes.
So we have CAT 4, PT series and all. Now they do tell us the skills or the way, the type each student will prefer.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
are visual learners, some are spatial learners.
Mhm.
So of course that is where data comes.
Mhm.
So now again the focus has become on data driven teaching. We know that this everyone has to do the board exam, so
Yes.
everyone will do the same syllabus. But as you said, from year 9, 10, 11, if we know that everybody cannot be a high achiever or an A
Yeah,
star.
of course.
So a child who is little slow in verbal but is very good with non-verbal, is not very good with words, the teacher needs to teach the same concept
In a different type
in a
of way.
different manner
Yes.
in the same classroom, and that is where differentiation also comes.
Mhm. But do
So
you think that
it
may
has become little I wouldn't say a burden on the teacher, but it has become what I would say 30 years back when I used to teach and what I have to teach now, there is a big difference. Now we focus more on, I know that these children are not their mathematical skills are not so well developed. They're still doing, say for example, in my lesson, they're doing chemistry. Now there is so much of mathematical skills that you
Yeah.
need to work on. So I go to those students and I scaffold them. I start with just writing a formula. So they feel happy that they know how to write the formula. Then I teach them how to use. In the meantime, my math students are able to do it before I even come
Yeah.
to their place. So this is how the teachers are working and helping students in every category, I would say, or every aspect, because they are all diverse learners we have now.
Yeah. Do you think differentiation may create, more pressure on these students? I'm not a math student, and that may create a sense of pressure for me. Hypothetically, if I had picked chemistry and you would have come up to me and I would have learned, but it would have taken me way longer than my peers. So wouldn't that, build up a sense of, oh my God, I won't be able to catch up to my peers. I want to achieve my A stars.
No, okay,
But
I agree what you're saying.
yeah.
Now, I feel that instead of taking that challenge as demotivating, you can take it as a challenge to build resilience.
Yeah.
Right? You can say, I want to do this. Now, I will learn it. And you will learn it. Right? At our age, we were not exposed to computers and so on. We learned. When COVID came, we didn't know how to use these Zoom classes and Google Classrooms and all. So you all are smart, you would have done it, but we were not. So we learned, no? Similarly, if there is something, this is when we face these challenges are not that we are only overcoming the challenges, we are building
Yes.
resilience when
Okay.
we face challenges. That's what I believe.
Okay.
So it's not that I will not be able to do it, I'll be behind, but I am taking one step and eventually I will do it.
Okay. That's great to hear. I mean, that gives me, and I hope our listeners too, sense of hope. To
Sense
do
of
better.
hope, and I feel that we need to prioritize understanding. As students, you need to prioritize understanding than on volume. When you talk about completing so much, I have to do so much, that kind of pressure builds up, and which leads to stress, that leads to panic, and then everyone knows what happens when you are sitting.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I completely do. This will definitely help a lot of our students, including myself, not just for chemistry, but for all of our subjects
Yes.
across. So, moving on, teachers have high expectations when it comes to grades, which we completely understand, but because they genuinely want us to do our best to achieve our goals and to become the best versions of ourselves. But at times, those tight schedules can add a lot of pressure, especially when students are already balancing tight schedules and managing extracurriculars. How can schools ensure that these high expectations just motivate and inspire students to improve rather than overwhelm them and cause burnout?
See, Parth, I believe high expectations are important. And I'll tell you why. Because they convey to the students that we believe in their potential. And it also supports their growth. However, what truly matters is how we communicate these expectations. Okay? The tone and the support.
Okay.
That, when it is accompanying the expectations, that makes the difference. And what do I mean by that? when expectations are, say, paired with encouragement, with trust, with reassurance,
Okay.
then they promote that confidence rather than anxiety. Okay. I'll give you one example, and this is an old example, my personal experience only, what I'm sharing with you today. I think it is about more than 10 years. I had a student, smart, intelligent at AS level, right? Miserably, I won't say fail, miserable grades at AS level.
No.
Okay, and good student. Okay, and I was teaching him also. So the parents came, and now you know that there is a blue sheet when we get that Excel statement on the result day, and said, I had plans to send him to US, and I wanted him to do this, he's so smart, and look at this, what he has done.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked at the father, and I told the father, and he said, I've lost hope. I said, no, but I have not. I've not lost hope in this child, because I've taught him and I know he can do it. We will find a way for him, rather than saying he's good for nothing. Okay, though it came from a parent, but again, the expectations are either from parents or from teachers, right? So what this child did, I said, you will do resits in October. Sorry, at that time we never had in October, it was in January. So I said, you will do the resits in January and you'll continue. And I promise I will help you to fully complete your application, and I promise you today, you will go to US. And he came up to my expectations. It was not anxiety, it was the trust I had shown him, the belief I had. So if teachers have that belief, that trust in the students, and the tone and the support we give them, I know for sure it works. And today that student is now a young man who is working in US, doing so well, and the father still comes and tells me, you were the one who has given him hope. And I wish and pray that every parent, every teacher gives that hope to the students, or has that expectations. And he used the word expectations, and that's why this incident came to my mind, that he should, we should have expectations from students. That is very important. And I can tell you, the students, they perform very well, and they perform best when they know that the teachers believe in them. They will perform well, and they know that they will support them through all these challenges. In fact, it's two-way process, right? The student also need to have that trust in my teachers will support me. I know my teachers will help me or support me when I'm facing some challenges. And it is not, I think the students should not feel that every time I'm being tested on, say, some perfection, I have to do it, I can't do. The teachers do understand where every student stands. So expectations should be there, but it should not lead to an anxiety to the students. Sometimes it can have a negative effect as well, that my teacher expects this, so I have to do it, and that causes anxiety.
Yeah, I think that was the point.
Students need to develop that confidence, that it will lead to confidence in me. So they need to be confident about that, and it will work, I'm telling you.
It feels so good listening to these, stories. I think I was looking back, and I do look back a lot onto my year 7 self, because at that time when Partha Shetty and everyone, he was my role model. I actually imagine being in his shoes one day, because he was so inspirational. I remember these speeches we used to have, and it would motivate me to the absolute limit. So, and this, as you said, these stories are so good for me especially. So
I think everyone needs to have a role model in school. I think when you are in year 7 or 8, you need to look forward towards your seniors. So now you people are role models for your the younger students that are in school.
Another thing is that students take tests seriously because it affects our predicted grades. I mean, when I say tests, I mean the first terms. At this stage, of us, it's more about university applications than genuine curiosity for a topic or a subject. How can schools help shift this mindset? I know we're getting back to mindset because I have talked to a lot of my peers and we've been consistently, I would say worried, or even though in stress, even if the teachers are motivating and inspiring us, I want them to feel like assessments should be like a reflection of learning rather than just a means to an end.
See, it's natural to think about predicted grades, and predicted grades I think starts when you get your AS results. Okay, when we interview people, the first thing is, Miss, I have done well in this, fine, but I've not done very well in subject B. I know my predicted grade will be low, right? Because everyone in school now, they understand that predicted grades are based on the AS level performance as well as what you perform at
in the
A
first
level.
terms, yes.
And I still feel that assessment is just a moment of time. That day maybe didn't go very well with you. You've learned everything, but you forgot something, or there was panic, button strike. So it happens.
Yeah.
So the predicted grades are not just based on what you've done in this 3 months or something, which I have seen. I don't know whether you have noticed, I have every day 3 or 4 students in my office that in economics my predicted grade has been this, and I've been predicted a low grade in math, or I've been predicted low grade in chemistry, but I promise, Miss, I will get you that grades. So I go by the teacher's judgment, because they are dealing with
Students on a day-to-day basis,
student
yes.
on day-to-day basis, whether it is in economics or it is math or it is science or any other psychology or anything.
Yeah.
So I normally tell these students that we need to be sometimes, yes, it's very good to be ambitious, but we need to be realistic.
Realistic,
right?
100%.
And how can we be realistic? Now, suppose I'll give you an example. If a student has got a C grade, okay, now these marks are added. And if it's a lower C, A level becomes little more challenging than what it is at AS level.
Yeah.
Now, how much effort you put, your understanding, you even get an A. When you do a total, you still get a B. You can't get an A because you've already got a lower score. Because your AS scores are like your cash deposits in a bank, which are being added on. Your A levels are added on to it, right? So students need to be realistic. Why? Because when we send these grades to the university, they also have seen the previous year grade.
Yes.
So they will, if we hype the grades, they will say school is just putting up the grades.
Yeah.
And please trust me and believe me, being in this field for so long, where I'm sending students, checking their applications, everything, I know for sure only predicted grades are not what is a decisive factor for your university application. Right? You predict something much higher and the student doesn't get, the universities will ask them to do certain courses before you join. In UK, for example, it's all conditional offer. You give a predicted A and they give you a conditional offer A star. You don't get an A star, that conditional offer will not become unconditional. Right? So this is a more hype and a stress amongst the year 12s and 13s about the predicted grades. Right? We do try that, we do have that, as I said before, expectations are there from our students. So most of the time I would say that we do increase by 1 grade sometimes as a predicted grade. But provided we see some kind of performance, yes, it is assessment, I agree. Some kind of learning, some kind of understanding happening in class, happening in assessments, where then the teacher knows that yes, this child can get above what they have received at AS level. So what I believe that instead of just predicting a grade, the feedback has to be more dialogue based, with more conversation with the student on one-to-one basis, rather than just seeing that, oh, the child has got a C at AS level, he'll get a D. No. There could be a dialogue based, say, these are your marks, this is what you need to work on, this is how you need to improve, this is where you need to put more attention to. then this stigma or this myth of the predicted grades, it will change. I can tell you that. And when students themselves will discuss with the teacher about their own performance, their own target. See, it's very easy to say, Miss, don't worry, I will get you an A grade. No, you need to discuss. There should be conversations with the teacher that, Miss, this is where I'm losing marks. This is the area where structured based questions I don't know why I go wrong. When they work on their own performances, automatically the predicted grades mindset.
I think a lot of students fail to ask why.
Yes.
They just think, oh no, I'm not doing this well. I'm just going to study harder. And they study the entire thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A dialogue-based conversations
is needed. Yes.
With the student, with their teachers, sitting with the teacher and saying, can you now tell me, okay, you're giving me B, fine. But to retain that B, let me know what are my next steps. What are my targets? So that, see, at this level, you need to be responsible for your own learning. We have now as teachers become facilitators. Right? You have to, all the students in year 11, 12, 13 need to be now responsible
and independent when it comes to their work.
For their own learning.
Yes.
That will change all this. So if we are changing, you need to change as well.
Of course, yes.
I'm not speaking on teachers' behalf, but I'm telling you on both the sides.
Yes.
The story from both the sides. So the pressure can be eased out if a mindset changes from marks driven to learning driven. If I learn for marks, I will never achieve what I want to. If I learn for learning, curiosity, I will achieve what I want.
It's taking your time when it comes to education.
Yes.
Not just by hearting every single page.
Not just recall, yes.
Yeah, just exploring the way you're supposed to be studying, and then, of course, talking to your teachers to be the best version of yourself at the end of the day.
Yes. So again, assessment should not be taken by students or teachers as merely getting marks and filling up sheets, or students showing that yes, I can do this,
or trying to cheat mid-class.
So it should be, I would say, to use as a tool for growth. It should be that, not as a source of stress. Students do take that as stress. I can tell you, my year 13 students whom I teach, every second day they will tell me, can you postpone the test? I was busy in sports, I was busy here, can you postpone it? Okay, you postpone, agreed. And I keep telling them, I said, why you only come, why do you want to postpone? Because we are not ready. So I understand that. When a child is not ready, there's no point of giving an assessment.
Exactly.
Okay, till you are ready, we'll do it then. Okay, take 2 more days, take 3 more days. So then that stress, but still, do you think there is no stress?
There's
After
always
5
going to be
days,
stress.
it will always be there. That it is, as I said, stress will be there. How do we deal with it matters more.
Wow, Miss, I'm genuinely mesmerized by this conversation that we just had. Thank you so much for being here today and joining on the second episode of Mind Matters. It's been an honor to have you here. Is there any last pieces of advice that you would want to say to our listeners?
I would just say that marks do matter. I don't think that, since I'm talking about assessments, take it as a tool for growth, marks do matter. But remember, they're not a snapshot. They don't tell you the whole story. Right?
It's taking everything piece by piece, day by day,
because
note by note.
Sometimes the grades or the marks, they reflect a performance at a particular moment. You can have Virat Kohli scoring 100 and the next match he scores 0. So it was at that moment that he played a wrong...
sometimes it's just not your day.
It's not your day. It happens.
It happens.
Right. But it will not have that effect on him because he scored 0 and the next he scored 100 and then he gets the laurels. So you cannot say that I score 0 now and the next, right? You cannot do that.
Yeah.
Right. Therefore, I still believe the qualities that define success is also your resilience, your understanding, your kindness, these also, your curiosity, these matter a lot, when especially when you go to the university. So I would end up saying, learn to see every test as a feedback, every challenge to build a resilience, which I mentioned earlier to you, and every mistake that you make as an opportunity, say, to improve yourself. So education is not about only passing exams, okay? It is about how you think, what you think. It matters. That is what matters, right? So it will make you as a learner for life. It's not passing exams will make you, but don't think education is just I pass every year, next step, next year, now I'm from year 13, I move to university, so I have to just pass an exam. No, it is not about passing exams. That is what you do. It is about learning and how you thrive in these circumstances. That is what all education is about. Okay?
Wow.
So thank you for having me and taking my viewpoints.
Thank you again for joining us, and thank you to everyone listening. This was Mind Matters, and stay tuned for the next episode, because your story matters. Thank you.